Hey garden friends! So today I'm really excited about this video. I've been meaning to do this for the past couple of days, but you know how life is, man. Like when you have a family and you're working, sometimes things get put off. But today I'm going to be harvesting my lavender and I'm going to hopefully be making a wreath out of it. I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this. I love the look of lavender wreaths and I just think that it's going to hopefully turn out really well. I'm hoping I have enough lavender. So, I mean, I guess if I don't, then you guys won't see this video. So, but either way, we're gonna head out. I'm gonna harvest the lavender and then I'm gonna bring it back in here and we're gonna make it onto my kitchen table. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. And if you do, please like and subscribe and let's go ahead and get started. This smells so good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep this wreath. We'll see how big it ends up, but I think I'm going to keep this wreath in the house. I have a door to our upstairs that I hang a wreath on, whatever season it is, and I think it would be perfect because it's right in between our kitchen, and our dining room. Our dining room and our living room, and it's right over here. I'm looking straight at it. It smells so good. It's like having a decorative air freshener. It definitely takes a minute to get the hang of this. I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. It's starting to go a little bit faster. I was a little worried that this was going to take a super long time. It might still take a super long time. And I'm kind of just going in here, and if I see anyone that's like really low, I'll kind of pull it up just a little bit. You know, just to kind of get them all like even, and when it looks okay, that's when I go ahead and I'm actually going to trim this one a little bit before I put the thing on because it's kind of hard to get the little bands on over top of all the leaves. So I think I might start trimming them first and then putting these little bands on. Yeah, that was a lot easier. And then I'm kind of just measuring them to make them all kind of the same size. Just so I don't know. I feel like that's going to make it easier to make the wreath. I'm not sure, but we're going to see how it goes. All of this stuff smells so good. one's a little bit more wild than some of the other bunches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a second one like right here, just to condense it a little bit. A second band, I mean, one of these guys. Because my goal is that the stems are pretty much covered and only this part sticks out. So you shouldn't be able to see this. As you can see, when I have ones that are like a little too tall for my liking, I'm just kind of taking it by the stem and like pushing it down. Ooh, I broke that one. Gently. Yeah, that looks all right. It's a little wild, so I'll probably do the same thing. Some of the ones are a little bit more wild because they came from like the bottom of the bush, if that makes sense, where it was reaching upwards a little bit more towards the sun. Because like I said, those beds get shaded probably like 3 o'clock on, something like that. So they kind of had to reach a little bit more. Like if you had these in straight up full sun with no shade, they would be a lot more straight and probably easier to make wreaths out of, but it's all right. It's not bad. It'll just look very natural. I feel like this like is the perfect bunch. Doesn't that look really good? Okay, so before we start making the wreath, let's go ahead and get this place cleaned up. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and put it on the wreath form. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Actually, let's zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm doing.
Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in here with a voiceover so I could kind of a little bit further explain what I'm doing so that I'm really clear about how I'm going about making this wreath in case you guys want to do it yourself. So the first thing that I did was I secured the wire to the wreath form, and I edited out a lot of this, but I really did make sure to make it nice and secure because you don't want it to pop off and then have to redo it, especially once you've got your lavender tied up on there. So definitely make sure that that's really secure and that you feel confident that as you pull on it, it's not going to pop off. The next thing that I did is I just started to lay out the lavender to kind of see how far it got me, make sure I had enough lavender, and so I could kind of just visualize where each bunch was going to go. So now we're actually getting into attaching the lavender to the wreath form, and when I started out you can see that I have a lot of give, but then I started to make sure that I was a little bit more close to the wreath form as I pulled the wire around, and that's just to make sure that it's nice and tight and secure and you're not going to have your lavender move anywhere. I also realized in watching this video that I definitely have a lot more free-flowing, natural-looking of a wreath, and the reason is because I did not take the wire as close to the blooms as you could. So if you want something that's a little bit more tightly knit and a little bit less wild is the word that I've been using, then I would definitely just take the wire up a little bit closer and even over top of the smallest blooms at the bottom. And just make sure that the lavender is a little bit more tightly secured to the form, and I think you'll get a lot neater of a wreath. So as I got further into this project, I realized that I made a little bit of a mistake in making the bunches of lavender too thick. So if I could give you guys any suggestions, I would definitely make them a bit smaller than I have them here, if not at least half of the size, just because it's going to be easier to fold the tails into the wreath form. It got really difficult to get them secured properly like they should, and as I pulled them towards the wreath form, the tops would shift out really bad, so I had to go back and fix that, and there was a lot of gaps in the form. So if I had made them a bit smaller and they were a little more flexible and easier to work with, I think it would have made my job a little bit easier. Alright guys, so this is the final product. It turned out a little bit wild, but that's okay. I actually like that. I might go ahead and use my hot glue gun and just pin down a couple of pieces here and there just to make it look a little bit more circular, if that makes sense. But I'm pretty happy with it, especially since this is my first time making a lavender wreath. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!